Welcome to In Your Neighborhood. I'm your host, Sharla Brown, and on today's show, we are speaking with the Urban Abbey. My guests today are Scotland Morrison. Scotland is the head of staffing, and Kimberley Morrison, who's a prior at the Urban Abbey. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So the Urban Abbey is still quite new in the city. Can you tell me a little bit about what the Urban Abbey is?
Sure. The Urban Abbey actually began theoretically about 4 years ago, but we became a charity in 2016. And the Urban Abbey is just a traditional abbey. It's sort of a neo-monastic group. And so that's what kind of makes it strange. And people are like, well, what on earth are you doing? You know, usually monastics hide out in the wilderness and do strange things, but there were also monastic orders who became community centers. So ours is more of a Celtic sort of model. So they became community centers for art and for culture and for prayer and for work and for cultural renewal and for taking care of the stranger. So hospitality. So it's just whatever the community needed, they were to move in and fill in the gaps.
Awesome. And let's delve a little bit maybe into the history of that. So is that coming from, I'm guessing, maybe Ireland or?
Yes, it's definitely from Ireland because there's many models. There's the Celtic model, the Catholic model, the Anglican model, and even though we are Anglican, it's the Celtic model. And so it's like 5th century.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
So, and if people aren't familiar with where you're located, you're across from the Magnus Theatre. So, and that used to be a different church at one point.
Scott, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. So back in 1908, that building was formerly First Baptist Church.
Okay.
And they functioned as a very vibrant Christian community for over 100 years. And then as their church membership started declining just a little bit, partly due to many people moving away to different parts of Canada and to be with family and those kinds of things, they realized that the church building was a little bit more than what they needed for their use every week. And so then they were presented with a proposal one fateful day, a little over 2.5 years ago, where they were given the opportunity to donate their building very generously to our nonprofit organization, and they did. And we worked hand in hand with them for a year to help that transition go forward smoothly and well for everybody. And so now they meet up in the Castle Green area, and we've been meeting and doing what we do at the Urban Abbey ever since.
Right, and it's such a beautiful building, and you've done all kinds of extensive renovations on the building. I know I've had a tour, and I've been there for a few different functions and things like that. So maybe let's talk about the building and the usages that you use it for.
Sure. So right now, we are attempting to convert every space in an old church building into something that is functional and usable every day of the week. So the former sanctuary used to have the orange church carpet but beautiful pews, and so we pulled the pews out, pulled the carpet up, and now it's also functioning as an artist studio. And so that space is open every day of the week except Sunday for artists to come in and use it as a studio space.
And I think we use it, drama groups are in there every day. We have drama groups, music practice happening, comic book art being taught, children's art. So it's literally filled pretty much with a group every day.
Yeah, and we never charge for the use of our space when different charitable groups want to use it, or when people come in for, say, like a wedding once in a while, which is very rare. We never charge for our space, and we work hand in hand with each group to sort of find out how we can help them achieve their goals. Sometimes it's a fundraiser, sometimes Lakehead University is using it for a presentation, those kinds of things.
Wow.
So that's the sanctuary space. Then downstairs, we are fully renovating and doubling the size of the kitchen to turn it into a kitchen and a bakery.
Wow.
And when those renovations are done, the kitchen and bakery will also be hosting classes to help people learn how to cook and how to bake and those kinds of fun things. And then we also have a community dining room. And actually that dining room is open every single day, 12:30 for lunch, and 5:30 for dinner. And it's open to the public and anybody who would like to stop by. We usually have fresh soup and fresh bread and salads of different kinds. And about 95% of the time it's vegetarian as well. So any of you vegetarian-minded people can also stop by, and there will be something for you there. And then on Saturday evenings, we have something called Saturday Night Life, which is a community meal opened up to the public. We usually have about 70 to 90 people who come into the Abbey for that. And we do some singing and encouraging message that has a Christian kind of perspective to it, but that offers hope and encouragement. And then we serve them meals. And so many people who do come to volunteer at the Abbey find that they love to volunteer for a Saturday evening meal that we offer.
And it's not really a soup kitchen.
That's right.
We've decided it should be a relational meal. So we actually prepare a meal that you would want to get in a restaurant, and we serve you and we clear your tables to a certain degree, and also offer a home-baked dessert.
Wow.
So we didn't want our community and neighbors to feel they were coming to a project, but they were making a relationship with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is really open for anyone. It's
Yes.
free of charge.
Absolutely.
As is every lunch and dinner for the other periods of time, but this one is not just a soup. This one is a special meal because we would like to make relationships with our neighbors and find out what they need.
Yeah,
Wow. And that's the Saturday night one.
Yeah.
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that starts 4 o'clock is when the doors kind of open. Our doors are always open, but that just means the coffee and tea is ready to go. And then at 5 p.m., that's when the singing starts, and then 5:30 is when dinner is served. So,
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Then also upstairs, there was this abandoned tower. If you drive by the Urban Abbey even now, you will see that there's a little small tower on the front of the building. And that had been constructed in 1908, but had been left to the pigeons. And so we converted that into a prayer tower. So anybody who is interested in praying or contemplation can come up. That space is always open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The door is always unlocked, so you would ascend the small little staircase on the outside of the building to the base of the prayer tower, and you can find yourself easily walking in, and you can go all the way up, or you can stay on the main level. There's also a gas fireplace there that during the winter is turned on, and so if people need a place to warm up when it gets really cold, they can also come in and warm themselves up in that space. So, and we do have 6 prayer services a day that are scheduled at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12, 3 p.m., 6, and then 9 p.m. as well. And those are a little more formalized. And so if anybody wants to come for a time of prayer with other people rather than just by themselves, they will usually find multiple people up in the prayer tower engaging in those services as well. So
Beautiful. Yeah, I went for the grand opening of the prayer tower, and the work
yes.
up there is spectacular. Like all
Yeah.
the new windows and the artwork in there, and it's just such a beautiful setup for sure.
And
Thank
there's a
you.
great view of the city, especially at night. You get to see all the lights of Thunder Bay sort of glistening there. So it's a great spot to come even at night to just sort of catch the view of Thunder Bay. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of amazing usages for the building, and even in the main dining hall during the evening, there's lots of activities. Like I know I've went to Latin dancing there on a
That's correct.
Thursday
Yes.
night, so
Yep.
there's a lot of really neat activities that go on there as well.
yes, you mentioned Latin dancing on Thursday nights, and now there's also in the fall kicking off a swing dancing group
Nice.
on Monday evenings as well. So if anybody wants to come to swing dancing in a few weeks, that will be kicking off as well. So
Wonderful, yeah, and those are like definitely a nominal charge or free to
Free,
attend.
yeah.
Which when I went to it, I thought it was so amazing because there were so many, students, a lot of international students
Yes.
that maybe that's their cultural background, is a little taste of home, a great way to get out to meet new people and have some fun. So
absolutely.
yeah, some really neat activities going
Yeah.
on. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to be right back with Scotland and Kimberley and talk more about Urban Abbey.